Alright, so today we made some wooden drawers. Well, most of them. Here's my drawing that I made prior to beginning. It's very helpful if you make yourself a cut list, as you can see there. So here we are cutting all of the pieces out that we need. I already have it cut down to the exact length, so we just have to cut it down to the width. Be very careful around table saws. Remember, I had a shop teacher always told me measure 10 times, cut once. Never fully took that to heart, so a few times I've had to remake things, but that's fine. So we need 4 pieces because I'm making 2 drawers. Alright, so next we got to create the rabbets for the drawers. I find that rabbets add quite a bit of stability in while making it kind of like a really easy kind of method of joinery. Biggest thing you're going to want to do is make sure everything is measured to the right heights and measurements that you want. So I have a router table for this. You don't need a router table, you can just make a sled and a regular router. You can use a table saw and a blade, just make curve cuts till it's like wide enough. Anyways, so I'm using, I want them to be a 1/4 inch back. Basically, since I'm using 1/2 inch plywood, half the thickness of the plywood, I figured it was about the amount of strength that we would need. So half of an inch is a 1/4 of an inch. So got a 1/4 inch there. You're gonna want 2 sides that have like a little notch on, like indented in, and then you're gonna want 2 sides that have like the whole notched out. I'll show you a little bit more in the end of the video, like what the end process kind of looks like. It's always the most annoying part of doing it. Turns out I was going the wrong way through my router table. So at some point the router bit came loose and started rising up through the cut, so it like cut through the wood entirely. Anyways, I ended up remaking that piece entirely, which is where you see me putting away the table so I could use the table saw. Here's me redoing the piece entirely. It's fine, it happens. Remember, measure 10 times, cut once. When using machinery like this, especially if you live in cold climates and like to wear hoodies while you're working, definitely want to keep the sleeves out of the way of anything spinning. Side out, like I said, at the very end it'll show it again, like up close, what the end result is meant to look like. Okay, anyway, so there we go. We are finished with cutting the rabbits. I'm gonna dry fit everything, see how it fits, make sure the whole box becomes, you know, box shaped. Like I said, we're making some drawers. Pretty big drawers. I had to make sure I had enough room, which I forgot to factor in the original design. So I just had to cut the piece a little bit shorter, reroute the sides. That's fine. Just, I think I had to take like ½ an inch off because I included enough space for one of the drawer slides, not both of them. Yeah, it's a pretty common thing for me to do. Alright, done with that bit again. We're gonna dry fit it again. There you go. So as you can kind of see, that's, if you don't know what a rabbet is, that's what it is. It's just kind of like a little notch, and then the other piece slides into there and just adds some strength to your project, while also making it so you really don't need to use any nails or anything. All I'm really going to do with this is I'm going to glue it up. What I do left is I got to cut slots down there to hold the 1/4 inch plywood in as the bottom, which also will stabilize the entire thing out. Then once we glue it up, clamp it down, glue it up and everything, then boom, that's it. Gotta make sure first that everything fits in place where I'm installing the drawers at. So I'm at my house. All of this stuff is going to my work in a cabinet that's there. I'm gonna cut those things. It's the same as cutting the slots on the short pieces was. It's the same exact thing. Gonna have it about a 1/4 inch up. That's it. The main thing is you just want to make sure that all of those routes go on the same side so that you don't... It's really hard to screw this up too. I've never had an issue with it. But just want to make sure everything is on the same side. Sometimes it's helpful to mark which side is the outside and which side is the inside. I didn't do this on this because I've made drawers before. After you make them like once or twice, really it just becomes like second nature. Here's one thing about routers. If you move too fast through it, it'll start burning your stock. It's not really a problem unless it lights on fire, which I've seen it do. But it's really not going to negatively affect your cut. It will, however, like your plate over here, it's all it's all melted. But other than that, it just smells like popcorn. It's not a bad thing. Anyways. next episode, we're going to cut out the bottoms for the drawers and do the glue up. Possibly the installation.